I'd like to share with you one of the major undertaking that American Association of Diabetes Educators took while I was their CEO. They've gone through a number of changes, but I consider this one really an important one because it looked into reorganizing their volunteer structure. As you know, that's never an easy task. So what the organization did is it adopted and implemented a new way of organizing local and regional volunteer groups that replaced the traditional chapter model with something that was more fluid volunteer involvement structure, and which included something like statewide bodies and communities of members that are organized by their location, by their interest, discipline, and so on, or different tasks. So it was a huge undertaking that took about 18 months to complete and required us to take many different steps in order to make it a reality for the organization. So what did we do? The goal was to strengthen the relationship between the national organization and its chapters and members, and really to provide more opportunities for member involvement, their grassroots advocacy and membership growth by changing the way our members affiliate with the national group, because previously or at the time when we started doing this, it was somewhat us and them. There was the membership and then there was a national organization, and we wanted to create a family. So what steps did we take? Well, first we researched some concepts and certainly reached out and hired a consultant to help us formulate this better. And then the board formed a task force that took a look at our current model and what was done to date, and then worked with the consultant and with staff to propose a new model. And then it took us some time to work with the board to make them understand what this concept was. And it took several board meetings to approve that in concept, because it was so new and so different. We didn't really know all the steps and how the implementation would go. So we continued to work with the volunteer task force to create the implementation plan, to work out all the details. And then certainly one of the things that was very important is to come up with a very good communication plan. And then also what we had to do is to increase our marketing and promotion to all of our members, just so to keep them in the loop. And then we also went through selecting an adequate platform, technology platform that would help us do all of this. So that's kind of what steps we took to get from our old model to a new model of affiliating with our members. Our new structure really included all of the membership, and it focused on forming very loose coordinating bodies at the state level. So we went from 116 chapters to 51 coordinating body or less, because some states were smaller, some places were smaller, so they had one coordinating body for a few states. And the leadership was very, very loose. You know, anyone who raised their hand and said, I want to be on the leadership team for this state could be. So we did away from traditional boards and elected people, and we did away with bylaws and all of the above that goes with the administration of a chapter. And they all became incorporated under AADE, American Association of Diabetes Educators. So we had very different structure from 116 separately incorporated and administered chapters that were under our umbrella. We moved to a unified way of dealing with our membership nationwide and organize them within these loosely defined coordinating bodies. We did produce for them written policies or some guidelines as to how they can loosely organize themselves, what they should do. But AADE also took over all of the finances and administration, and all of that was taken away from chapters because that's what they told us in the survey that we did of our members and chapters. The major issue that they had was they had to spend time on administration, balancing their finances, while their interests were in networking and providing education. So with this new chapter we had adopted and implemented, we had really good outcomes, very, very positive in terms of member involvement, and even, our membership grew between 1 to 3% in spite of reorganization and in spite of economic downturn at that time. What we provided as the most beneficial thing from this reorganization was a very meaningful and active volunteer involvement. In particular, using the social networking elements, scheduling, registration, organizing educational events. So the feedback that we got after we implemented and after we put everything in place really was very, very positive, and it created a new excitement among our members, and a lot of aha moments for them to say, oh, now I understand what my national association is all about. Let me tell you a little bit about how we did this, because it all sounds very nice when I talk about it now, when we're at the end of the road, when we accomplished this implementation. But make no mistake, there were some significant challenges in getting this implemented that we had to overcome. Certainly, when it came to taking the finances and transferring them to a central office and taking away all of that administration, while our members told us that was a burden to them, on the other hand, when we started doing this, they felt as if we're taking away the power. That there is a major loss of power, that they won't be able to make decisions as to what kind of education they want to do, how they want to go about it. And then there was also a huge fear of technology, because our members were somewhat aging members, and to them technology was not native as with younger generation who were born with it. So we had to address this on kind of two different fronts. One, to show them that really we're just becoming the administrators of their finances and providing bookkeeping and support actually to make them more flexible. And then also we have to go through a number of training sessions to teach them how to use technology to their benefit. And I have to say that in this process, what really mattered the most was the involvement of our volunteer leaders, because our board and our leaders really had ownership on this, and were the greatest ambassadors out there, defending, promoting, kind of calming down everybody. And then our younger members were really, really excited about the whole thing. And they all still were amazing advocates who would go out there, who would help their colleagues, who would kind of share their excitement. And then, certainly staff, it wouldn't have happened without them, because they did some major work. We had to increase the staff that was focusing on this area of volunteer department in the organization. They had to do a lot of work and a lot of support, and they take on a lot of responsibilities. And then on top of that, it wasn't just that we build it and they will come. We had to work with our volunteers and members to make it as lively as we could. And it paid off. And, we've learned many lessons as we went along. If anyone asked me if I would have done something differently, definitely I would. And if you plan on doing something like this, spend more time figuring out your communication and how you're going to communicate to your members, because it is important and it is crucial in making this a success.